Welcome to Monday. It's the 26th of April, 2021. Well, it was nice to finally get some warmer weather in, especially on Sunday across the region. And most of you will enjoy another really mild day today before we have a trough come in and brings a change in our weather. What we have coming, folks, is finally a more typical spring pattern. I'm happy to say we don't see that unseasonably cold air that's been dominating for the last 2.5 weeks making a return. Yes, we're going to have some ups and downs, but the downs aren't as cold and the ups are more warmer, and that's what's going to be the case. We have a Pacific trough that's going to bring wind, showers, thunderstorms, and some mountain snow over the next 48 hours. Kind of have an interesting little setup for parts of northern Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, and western Nebraska. Tomorrow afternoon and Wednesday, we'll highlight that for you. Colder Wednesday and Tuesday with the system moving through, but a big rebound. In fact, we see 70s and even some 80s between Thursday through Saturday. So really, a more spring-like pattern is coming as we go through the last week of April. The next storm system that's going to bring some precipitation and cooler weather, that looks like it's going to be around Sunday into next Monday. So this week starts off rocky. The mid to second half of the week looks great. First half of the weekend looks great, then the next storm system. These are temperatures relative to average for April so far. And you can see all the blue and the green and how cold April has been. And even though we've got some mild April days, most of April for most of the region will be colder than average once you add up all the numbers. And that has led to a really slow snowmelt. If you were to look at the updated snowpack figures, percent of normal, one thing I need to highlight is that these are snowpack levels relative to the date. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're ending the year with snowpacks 133% of normal, 120% of normal. But for this date, the snow levels are these percentages. And a lot of the reason we've got green and blue here and still some fairly impressive snowpack levels is because of the cold weather. The snow melt basically stopped or really slowed down. But the late season moisture has helped a little bit, and we're going to probably see some pretty good runoff here in these blue areas. As it does finally warm up, there'll be some better waters coming on in, and we'll need to keep an eye on creeks, rivers, and streams. But the Platte system, the upper green, the Snake, you're about 80 to 90% of average. Colorado, a similar situation. Again, that snow melt just really slowed down with that cold weather we had in mid-April. Now let's take a look at what will unfold in the coming days. This is the upper level pattern for this afternoon. We've got this broad area of high pressure pumping in all this warmer air into the nation's midsection, and then we've got this low here in the Great Basin. This trough, as it comes in, is going to make for some windy conditions today and into early tomorrow in that area there, but also produce some showers and thunderstorms. Here's the wind that will be forecasted over the next 48 hours. So you can see this is something we had over the weekend. You can see the windy conditions are mainly along and west of the Continental Divide. So for you West Slope folks, for south central and southwestern Wyoming, this is where the worst of the wind is going to be with the front as it moves in later today, tonight, and into Tuesday. Now, as we get into Tuesday afternoon, the main low is all the way down into Southern California, and it kind of gets stretched out a little bit. The energy gets stretched, and what that tends to do is it tends to weaken systems. However, due to the time of year where we've had all this warmer air and the winds are coming up from the southwest funneling in moisture, we also have some cold air aloft, and that's going to make for some colder, unstable conditions high in the atmosphere Tuesday afternoon and evening and Tuesday night. And the end result is we're going to see some showers and thunderstorms developing. One thing the computer modeling has been very persistent about here over the last couple of days is this area of enhanced rainfall that could take place Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday morning. See all that yellow and the oranges and the reds? I mean, that's impressive amounts of rain. Now, usually what happens in these situations, the models over forecast the amount of moisture that we're going to actually see. But this area right here will be susceptible to thunderstorms Tuesday afternoon and the Tuesday night and early Wednesday. And some of the heavier rain producing thunderstorms could produce a good amount of rain. So some of the I-25 corridor of Colorado, the South Platte Valley of Colorado, into parts of Nebraska and far southern Wyoming might get some decent rain out of this. But I have to warn you, you usually don't see it this widespread. There'll be pockets of heavier rain in this area. Now you can see there's green and there's some yellow and there's some blue patches in other areas. So there is going to be some measurable rain in some areas. But if there's going to be heavier moisture, it's going to be in this area here. And you can see this in the forecast of thunderstorms. What I'm showing you here is a graphic where it shows where thunderstorms are most likely to form and where there's most likely going to be lightning. So you can see that area of heavier shower and thunderstorm activity is in the area where they think the heavier thunderstorms are going to develop down into the Texas Panhandle as well. And if you go back, you can really see it really matches up well where the heavier moisture is going to fall. If you miss these thunderstorms, you're not going to get much. Now, if we convert that to snow potential, notice that on the plains, it's warm enough that this is going to be a mostly rain event. Yeah, there could be some wet snow mixing in, but the mountains of the Front Range of Colorado, you get up into Estes Park, the I-80 corridor of south central Wyoming, from west of Cheyenne to Rawlins. Well, that I-80 stretch, 287 roads and highways here, and the higher mountains of north central Colorado, well, you're going to see some pretty good snow up high with this system tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, but it looks like more wet than white on the plains. As we get to the second half of the week, here's the warm-up. High pressure begins to build on in. We have a west coast high pressure moving in. Warmer desert southwest air wants to build in and push into the region here. What's left of the storm is going to just basically migrate down into Old Mexico there in South Texas and kind of minor itself out while a warmer fetch comes in. This is why Thursday through Saturday, 70s and 80s are coming our way. And you can see these are temperatures by Thursday relative to average. So you can see that wedge of warmth coming right back in. So yep, tomorrow and Wednesday definitely going to be colder, getting a little bit wet in some areas, but then there's going to be a big rebound. Here's the next trough. That's going to arrive in the Sunday, Monday time frame. Showers, thunderstorms, some high country snow, but probably wet on the plains with some cooler temperatures coming in. So that'll be the next weather maker. And then as you can see, we got a little high pressure coming in behind it, likely to warm up. You start getting into that up and down pattern as we get into early May. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. Have yourself a good Monday.